Travis Wayne Goodsell. In Mormonism, there's a phrase of do what is right, let the consequences follow. It's a primary song that we were all taught as little Mormon kids. And despite my having sat in the back as an older primary kid, as I remember, and making up lyrics to the various primary songs at that very young age, I had a talent and a gift. I've given you examples on several of my videos on this channel. I'm not sure if I've done any on my older channel. The reason why I bring up my older channel is because I will mention a Mormon. But there's an important lesson that is actually correct in that primary song. There are other primary songs that teach blatantly false doctrine, like faith is knowing the sun will rise. Blatantly false, and yet they're teaching it to primary children. I didn't hear it as a kid, so it's somewhat newer than since I've been there back in the 70s. But obviously whoever wrote it knows nothing of Mormon doctrine and scripture. But yet it was approved for the primary book. But that doesn't mean that it was the apostles who approved it. I know how it's done and how it gets approved. And it's not as high up as Mormons are led to believe. Anyway, there are consequences, not just to our good actions, but also our bad actions. The movie Pay It Forward, which I never watched, but I heard people talking about it and thinking that they can pay things forward, it sort of turned into an extortion threat. It seems to come as a result of the mail that we used to get, and then it became email chains that we used to get, where we were extorted to send 5 or 10 letters to 5 or 10 other people, or we were going to get cursed. So, yeah, I never participated in any of that crap. But the concept of doing good to other people is a good thing. The only thing with the pay it forward thing is that you select who you pay it forward to, rather than paying it forward to every single person you encounter in your life. That's the difference. And that's where pay it forward collapses and fails. Because, for example, your friend or family member says, "Oh, somebody paid it forward to me. Oh, this is wonderful. And then I went and paid it forward to so-and-so." And it's not you in any of it. You got skipped. And yet these other people are saying they paid it forward. And how great a thing it is to pay it forward. But you got skipped. See where it falls flat on its face. That pay it forward concept, you'd be happy to know, comes from Anton LaVey's Satanic Bible. Yeah. Just like Who Moved My Cheese, that book that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints used as their business model while I was working there in their distribution center. I was transferred back from Beehive to the warehouse distribution center on 17th and 17th. And they tried pulling that crap on us. I was the only one who stood my ground and said, no, this is a direct quote from Anton LaVey's Satanic Bible. And so my supervisor, Dick, that's what he wanted to be called rather than Richard, so it's not me changing his name like the primary hymns, Dick said, well, I don't think we want you to go to this meeting then anyway. Yeah, good, because I'm not going. The first thing that should immediately insult people is the fact that they're using mice or rats as humans. That should be the first disturbing thing from that book. And then you find out he's a psychiatrist. I think it's 2 guys that wrote it. Psychiatrist. And then it just goes deeper into the depths of hell from there. But again, there are consequences. If we were to implement it, which they did, there are consequences to the workplace. Now, the book was written specifically to protect the businesses who implement it. But there are consequences. When you employ satanic principles, there are consequences. And they're not good consequences. You have to use good, sound principles in all aspects of life, with everyone you encounter. You cannot pick and choose who gets good consequences, or who gets good actions, who gets bad actions. Even every single video I do, I have to be sound in my presentation of how the church is pure evil. But yes, there are consequences for my doing it this way. As Marie gave her actions through words, through comments, which have consequences. In the First Amendment, we have the freedom of speech. Does that mean we can be abusive, bullying, and lie? Does it? No. Why? Because the consequences of being abusive in your speech, being bullies in your speech, and lying in your speech result in negative, harmful consequences to other people's rights to life, liberty, and property. For example, does Trump have the freedom of speech to say drinking bleach will cure coronavirus? What are the consequences of him exercising his free speech, as you call it, to tell people while he's in a position of government, the head of government, of the executive branch, saying bleach cures coronavirus? Drink it up. Drink the Kool-Aid. Yeah. The news already was quick to respond to that one, as they reported hospitals were reporting a rise in patients rushing to the emergency room for having drank bleach. Those are the consequences of choosing the wrong. It leads to the deprivation of life, liberty, and property of others. When you do what is right, you are granting others life, liberty, and property. Not to take away others' rights, but to give them rights so that they can have rights, but not at the expense of others. It's not complicated. It's very simple. Once you throw somebody in the mix who takes away somebody's life, liberty, and property, all of a sudden you've got chaos. And the law is supposed to, at least the Constitution, is written in such a manner that when somebody violates another's life, liberty, and property, they are supposed to be punished with having their life, liberty, or property taken from them instead as a recompense, as part of justice. So if you steal something from somebody, you gotta give it back, plus interest, for the damages that were beyond just the item taken. For example, you steal somebody's car, they can't get to work. They can't get paid. See the consequences of doing the wrong thing? It's not a complicated system. And yet, everybody knows from Justice League, their latest movie. Everybody knows. La, 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 la. I don't have it memorized, but I know everybody knows part. That's the title of it. And so, this is what my channel is designed for. To warn everybody. I'm not going on here saying Mormons are stupid just for the sake of calling Mormons stupid. I'm calling Mormons stupid because their actions are leading to damaging, long-lasting effects. Big difference. Marie, however, apparently must be a new convert, or she's a Russian spy using the name Marie Williams. I didn't bother to check her channel. I outright banned her. It was on my older one, which means time is of the essence because I'm not allowed to manage the account anymore because of a Mormon who got YouTube to shut me down on that channel. But, and so yeah, I had to ban her as quick as I could. I can't change all 500 plus videos on that channel to the notify me or hold all, whatever it's called, that I do on this channel. And so should I give you examples? I'm already 13 minutes in. YouTube says most of you are gone. Let me just give you a brief partial sentence where she calls me a name calling. I'll put in the death threat too after she calls me the name. So if there are children listening, cover their ears. You may want to cover your ears because I'm going to quote she says, ... you're a big fat ass son of a bitch. That was the name calling part. Not that bad. That's what could be said. I could come up with some, especially since she's a female. There's a selected kind that don't typically get used for men. But anyway, she continues with the death threat. You shouldn't be allowed to remain anywhere on this earth. This is a Mormon or someone presenting themselves as Mormon. Do you want to know what video it was that she has gone to this extreme as a consequence of my video? Now, my video was, let's see, it doesn't show the title here. It just says that she replied to It's Me Jesse's comment, but it's not It's Me Jesse's channel. It's Me Jesse finally found that I had done this video and thanked me for doing this video. So that gives you a big clue as to which video it is. And then her first original one was to a guy who had commented, and she decided to add her comment about me to some other person's comment. She was trying not to let me see it. And so she had to type out my full name because she didn't want me to see it. This is how evil she is, if it's a she at all. She may not be Mormon, and Mormons are innocent. No. Now, it's not going to stop the video, but, so here it is. This was the title of the video that I made back on 20th of April, 2019, before YouTube shut me down. Back off, Jesse, Kwaku. 3 exclamation points. Huh. Do you know who Kwaku is? Kwaku is a wannabe Mormon apologist. He is currently, well, he's no longer going to BYU. They've closed it. He was a student at BYU and used YouTube with some of his white buddies to do videos from what they were learning from the real apologists of the Mormon Church. And so Kwaku doesn't know everything yet, as he admits, and sometimes gets guests to appear on his channels to assist him in a particular topic that he is not fully aware of. Apologists are defined as defending a position with unsound arguments. So right away, an apologist is a fraud and a fake and a liar. Huh. Isn't that interesting that the church would need apologists to defend the church unsoundly? And their biggest complaint, you can find it on the Wikipedia page about Mormon apologetics, is that they use abusive attacks, just like Marie Williams did. Huh. She proved the situation correct, that Mormon apologetics can't defend the church soundly, so they are abusive in their speech, sending death threats, because that's what Mormons do, isn't it, Mormons? You hate people, so when people say, you guys are wrong about your church history, and therefore you're wrong about your scriptures, it wasn't translated from Egyptian plates, we found this other book, and oh wait, there's another book, and there's another book, and there's another book that were plagiarized in your Book of Mormon. Oh wait, there's another book. And Mormons go off the rails as Marie Williams did. You see what I'm saying? I don't make this stuff up. These people are real. I am literally under constant threat of my life, especially now that I've sued the church and the judge ran. Her last day on the bench, and she ran, refused to do anything about the case, when I beat them. I beat the church. I've done the videos on this channel, reading their motion to dismiss. Those guys passed the bar exam. They got licensed to practice. They got hired by the church, and they gave me that crap. And the judge just said, I want nothing to do with this. Let some other Mormon judge handle it. But once a Mormon judge does respond and say, okay, I'm now in charge of this case, I'm then going to have to send in a motion to have the judge recuse themselves for being Mormon, and point out the criminal behavior of the Mormon judge as to a justifiable reason why they need to recuse themselves, and recuse themselves fast. Just like I did with the lawyers. And so again, the judge wanted nothing to do with it. And so I don't get the money from the church, which is everything. And so I can't help you guys during this crisis. And I should have talked about that. I had intended to talk about that, about my experience today. As with Utah opening up businesses, everybody's out shopping. And very few are wearing masks, and I was the only one in gloves. Nobody is taking this seriously. But it's weird. They're not taking bleach, obviously, so they don't believe Trump when he says take bleach, but they believe him when they say it's a hoax. Are you guys picking and choosing what you want to believe? That appears to be the case. Once Trump had told everybody to drink bleach, that should have been the end of it for all of his loyalists. They should have said, okay, you've lied. We now know you've lied. Before, we weren't quite sure. You could have been telling us the truth. There's no way for us to have found out. But now you've told us to drink bleach and kill ourselves. So now we know who you are, Trump. But nope. I guess they're not that smart. Right, Marie? And so I'll just end this video, since that seems to be the consequences theme here. But yeah, I was defending Kwaku, or defending It's Me Jesse from Kwaku, because Kwaku did a video on her. And so I did a video on Kwaku, who did a video on It's Me Jesse. And if you listen to that video, I really lay into Kwaku, because his video should have been an affront to all Mormons. What he said in his video was unacceptable. It was far from Christ-like. It was far from Mormon Christ-like. And yet, he won't allow my comments, so I can't condemn him publicly as he condemned It's Me Jesse publicly. And he only allows his loyalists, which he gets thousands. Thousands of Mormons love him. And he allows their comments of, oh wow, this is the greatest thing I've ever said. Oh, you really put her in her place. Oh, you owned her. Again, Mormons showing their fruits of hatred. Their fruits of Antichrist. Because if you're not Christ-like, you're not demonstrating the fruits that you know Christ. I did that video just the other day. You Mormons, I don't have to condemn you to hell. I don't have to wipe my feet on Utah. It's a Mormon thing, guys, if you don't know it. Because you've already sent yourself to hell. Don't believe me? Shall we go to a scripture? And I will show you. Because it talks about consequences. And it's in the Book of Mormon. So Mormons will want to know their own Book of Mormon, right? They won't dismiss me because I'm quoting from the Book of Mormon, will they? Of course not. They love and cherish the Book of Mormon. The Book of Mormon is the greatest Word of God ever. It's better than the Bible. I'm pretty sure I think I know where it is. And I'm doing it without searching. Okay, there it is. See, I know this one. Alma, chapter 3. Mormons, run. Turn off the video quick. You do not want to hear this Book of Mormon passage. Run, Mormons, run. Alma, chapter 3. So much traffic out there. But that was a big rig. They're noisier. Alma, chapter 3, verse 19. Now I would that ye should see that they brought upon themselves the curse. It wasn't God who cursed them. He's making a comment in his abridgment. This part, it's kind of hard to tell because the lines were not specific in the chart of who wrote what. So 32 is clear that it was Oliver Cowdery. Alma chapter 3 could have been Sidney Rigdon. Brought upon themselves the curse. Even so, here's the doctrinal principle. Remember in the introduction, Mormons, Wilford Woodruff's journal is quoted about what he had heard from a talk by Joseph Smith. I told the brethren that the Book of Mormon was the most correct book of any on the earth, and that a man will draw nearer to God by abiding by its precepts than by any other book. Here's a precept. We can put it to the test right here, right now, Mormons. Even so doth every man that is cursed bring upon himself his own condemnation. Bad actions lead to the bad consequences. Is it a true precept? Are you sure you want to experiment and try to find out if doing bad things will lead to bad consequences? I think we all know that, don't we? I guess I'm assuming. I found out Marie doesn't believe in this. She doesn't believe in the Book of Mormon. She claims to be Mormon, and she doesn't believe the Book of Mormon. She thinks it's a fraud. She worships Kwaku. Did you know that I gave Kwaku the priesthood key of translation, and he just threw it away? I had fun on that one. That was on my website where I did that. So do what is right, let the consequences follow. Blessings follow good consequences. Unless you have someone who does bad things. They mess it up. I did a good thing by pursuing ancient translation. Joseph Smith said he was a translator. I wanted to know what his translations were, what his process was. I had taken French, so I am aware that English is not the only language. And I knew how French worked, having forced to take the classes in high school in order to graduate. So I was curious. Well, this is another language. How does this work? Because it's not like French. No one had the answers. My mom said, oh, this is higher level learning, requires the spirit and being an adult. Not good enough, Mom. So I went and pursued the education. Because consequences would result. That's what I was taught. If I want to know something, I got to put in the research necessary in order to find something out. And it's not the intensity of the research, it's the process of the research. When people tell you, oh, you just need to work harder to get more money, no, they're lying to you. You don't have to work harder. You just need to know the process of making more money. And now we're all screwed. But that's another subject that I wanted to talk about. But I'm already at 32 minutes. Consequences. It's not complicated. If you're going to continue to defend the church, continue to defend Nelson, when we find out, no, that's wrong. No, that's a lie. No, that's going to be harmful. You guys are at fault, not us. We learn the truth. We're trying to help you learn the truth. Because apparently you're dumb. And all you can do to respond is name call and death threats. And that's uncalled for.